Rapist abductors, what to do with society's most dangerous women. Inside Kitchener's Grand Valley Institution for Women, there are more than a dozen. And there, the answer is to lock them in a cell, watch them around the clock, and shackle them when they leave. Many say that doesn't help anyone learn from their actions or be rehabilitated for the future. CTV's Abigail Beeman joins us with part 2 of a series on life behind bars at Grand Valley. And Abigail, tonight we are talking about the maximum security unit.
Megan, it's a place few Canadians have ever seen. Inmates call it the prison within a prison because those in the general compound meters away have never seen it either. Tonight we bring you stories from what one mother calls Grand Valley's dirty little secret. Anne Hansen has seen a lot.
It's very difficult to describe the level of tension that goes on in there.
30 years ago, she was one of the Squamish Five, a group responsible for a string of bombings and the only one handed a life sentence. Hansen was released on parole from Kingston's Prison for Women after 8 years. And when that parole was suspended, she was sent to Grand Valley.
I showed a film at the library, and the CSC said that I knew that I wasn't supposed to be politically active.
What happened next was shocking to a woman who faced no new charges.
Put in leg shackles and handcuffs and put in the maximum security unit.
The Max Unit. As prisoners describe it, it looks something like this. They're called pods. Each has 5 cells off a hallway. You may have seen a similar cell from the Ashley Smith inquest. Bare. A toilet, a bed, a window. But on the Max Unit, the difference is there can be 2 women kept in this small space.
You've got all these people compressed into this little place with the guards, you know, watching constantly.
The women are there 23 hours a day, an hour in the yard in the evenings, otherwise leaving for medical reasons or to see visitors. Hansen remembers how quickly things can turn serious and dangerous.
The guard thought that one of the prisoners had swore at her using the F word.
She says the guard charged the inmate.
It escalated within an hour to the emergency response team being called in, and I think there could have been many other ways for the situation to de-escalate than having the emergency response team called in and pepper spraying for someone who initially was upset because they disagreed with the charge.
CTV News requested to speak with 3 inmates for this series. Prisoners do have the constitutional right to speak to us, but all requests were denied by the Correctional Service of Canada. One of those prisoners was Nicole Kish. She's been speaking out through a blog run by her family.
I love you.
Sentenced to life in prison for second-degree murder, Nicole Kish arrived at GVI's Max Unit 2 years ago after what was dubbed the Panhandler murder. Kish has maintained her innocence, and her family is in the process of launching an appeal. In the meantime, she's shed some light on the small prison unit about which so many are in the dark, calling it an incubator of human suffering. One positive, Kish is educating herself, but says, "Never does a week go by where I am not made fun of or condescended for attempting to take university-level courses, which I am also neither financially nor structurally supported in doing. And I am what they consider a low-maintenance prisoner. High-needs prisoners hear far worse from staff regularly. I have even heard staff tell women to commit suicide." But in the last few months, no posts.
She has chosen not to have anything put up because she has very, very few freedoms. She has classes that she takes that she deeply needs to take. All it takes is one guard to decide no.
It's very counter-rehabilitational. I mean, the number one thing that it does not do is help you improve yourself as a person.
Similar stories from a former inmate we call Petey. We can't reveal her identity. When she and her sister were charged with murder in the drugging and drowning of their mother 10 years ago, they were teenagers, sentenced under the Youth Criminal Justice Act.
I hesitate to complain about food because we're not supposed to have luxuries while in prison. However, I went anemic when I was in maximum security, which to me really shows that there was a deficiency.
So another prisoner shared iron pills. Petey says the wait for a doctor was too long.
She took a risk for me.
because sharing anything is a chargeable offense in Canadian prisons.
There are more than a dozen women in maximum security at Grand Valley, but that's a small percentage of the prison's population, which can climb to as many as 200. Tomorrow, we will take a look at the general compound with cottages instead of cells, more freedom of movement, and more jobs for inmates, including work in a factory that produces bed linens and textiles, again, right in the middle of Kitchener. Megan.
All right, thanks very much, Abigail. And let's take a look outside now. The sun is shining now, but we saw more of those snow squalls today. How long until those flurries move on for good? Lindsay has your weather forecast in just a minute. Also ahead on CTV News.